and Max Kellerman, your guys. I'm Molly Karen Rose. Gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Let's continue it. It's never too early to talk MVP. So who will be this season, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Marinate on this, folks, okay? According to our friends at Caesar Sportsbook, reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes opened as a 4-1 favorite. Lamar Jackson coming in second at 13-2. A bit of a surprise at number 3. Listen to this, Dan. Dak Prescott, followed by Russell Wilson. Tom Brady tied with Kyler Murray for 5th best odds at MVP. Oh, have the mighty fallen. Max Kellerman, you're up first. Who's the biggest threat to Mahomes for MVP this season?
The regular season reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson. I told you guys for a while now, and I gave Warren Sharp of Sharp Analytics credit, of course. Lamar Jackson was the most accurate 21-year-old passer in the history of the NFL. So the fact that he wasn't accurate by the standards of elite quarterbacks, you have to factor in his age. He's gotten better and better every season. And then last season, as Dan Orlovsky, you've pointed out with the 3 tight end sets and everything, he was the most valuable player of the league. So that guy who has probably not yet entered his prime, at least not as a passer. You get him 2 sure-handed receivers in the draft. He was on a 14-win team last year, and he was the whole offense, right? Like, the whole thing is predicated on what he can do. Even if that team goes backwards and only wins 12 games and Lamar Jackson shows improvement, he remains the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes as the most valuable player in the NFL.
I disagree. And that's not taking anything away from Lamar Jackson. I think he's electrifying, and obviously we're running the football. And he has improved his accuracy. He deserves a lot of credit. But I think that the division is going to be a little bit tougher this year. The Browns have upgraded the coaching position as far as I'm concerned with Stefanski. The Steelers got Big Ben Roethlisberger returning. I think there's going to be tough going in that division alone, let alone the rest of the AFC. So we can't ignore that reality. Then I have to look at it from this perspective. I'm all about Tom Brady right now. Godwin and Evans, along with O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, with Tom Brady behind center. This is a guy that hasn't thrown more than 13 interceptions in the season since like 2008 or something along those lines. This guy is coming in there. He's highly motivated. He's going to be playing, I'm not going to say a run and gun NFC South, but damn it, it's pretty close when you consider how New Orleans plays, the kind of potency that the Atlanta Falcons should have on the offensive side of the ball with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and those boys. I'm of the mindset that on a lot of occasions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have to put up points in order to win games. And if they're going to have to put up points, in all likelihood, it's going to be through the air as opposed to on the ground, particularly with the weapons that he has available. By virtue of style of play alone, the competition that he's going against, combined with the weapons that he has available to him, I think the way to go in this particular question is regarding Tom Brady.
I mean, they're both great answers, guys. I would go with Russell Wilson. You know, over the last 3 years, no quarterback leads or no one has more touchdowns accounted for than Russell Wilson. And if I look at the makeup of their team, first of all, you get a second-year player in DK Metcalf that's in the same system, and that matters this year. And usually when you take these second-year receivers and expect their growth, you can go, okay, probably going to get another 20 to 25 catches, another 300 or 400 yards, and, you know, maybe another 2 or 3 touchdowns. Well, last year he had about 60 catches, 900 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So we're looking at a guy in DK Metcalf that could go up to 80 catches, 1,300 yards, and 10-plus touchdowns. And then Tyler Lockett's another 1,000-yard receiver almost annually. So that's a really good 1-2 combination. And then the addition of Greg Olsen. Like, Greg Olsen really hasn't had a receiver outside of him in the likes of DK Metcalf and Lockett probably since Steve Smith down in Carolina. And so if Greg is healthy, those are three really good weapons for Russell Wilson, who was really 1-2-3 last year in the MVP race.
Hey, Dan.
And the additions that they made to their football team are going to be massive. Also, a better offensive line. The 2 caveats that I would have for you guys, and Stephen, I know you want to talk, but the 2 caveats I would have is I do think it's going to take Tampa Bay a month to get up to speed because there's not going to be much offseason. They're going to be a drastically different offense in the back back in November and December than they will in September. And then, Max, I love Lamar Jackson and the point. The two kind of maybe asterisks I have for conversation is, how do they replace Marshall Yanda? That's a huge question. And then they traded Hayden Hurst. So that really made that 3 tight end package at least different. How do they replace those 2 players? But I think they're all 3 great options.
Well, Dan, I think your argument would be better served if we're talking about who's the stiffest competition in the NFC, who could ultimately make the Super Bowl and things of that nature. When you're talking about the MVP, you're talking about a specific individual. And the reason why I wouldn't pick Russell Wilson is because I'm thinking about Carson and Penny running in the backfield. These guys run the ball very, very effectively. And Pete Carroll has no problem whatsoever giving it to them to move the chains. That's how Seattle usually beats you. It's not that Russell Wilson can't make the big play. He certainly extends plays. We get all of that. But they usually go the methodical route in order to in terms of chopping you down.
But Russell Wilson
and beating you, not just defensively but offensively. Hold on, Max. But the thing about it is that when you look at Tom Brady, I think that they'll be putting the ball in the air more than Seattle, and that's why I'm thinking Tom Brady as opposed to Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson's a great pick any year because many years he's right there, top 2 or 3. He just hasn't had that one season that jumps out at you as better than everyone else. And at a certain point, he may be the sentimental favorite. Although I think if Brady is close, Brady's the sentimental favorite, even though he's won before. But Russell Wilson is a great pick. I want to get back to Lamar Jackson. Guys, independent of what the other stuff around him, they're going to run the offense through him. And you know, when I talk about, well, he's the most accurate age 21 passer in history, and then every year he's getting better. As a rookie, he was a better passer as a rookie, at least according to the stats, than Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Carson Wentz, and several, obviously Trubisky, but Jared Goff. He was more accurate as a rookie than a lot of those guys you think of as really accurate passers, and he was younger than most of them when he was a rookie. So his natural passing talent, just passing talent, is severely underrated. And let's not forget, even if the division gets better,
I don't view it that way.
That's a 14-win team. A 14-win team. He just steered to that record.
Well, let me address what you're saying. The reason why, and I'll defer to you, Dan, with this, but the reason why I'm basically opposed to what Max is saying in terms of the accuracy of Lamar Jackson. I'm not trying to take away anything from him. A matter of fact, I'm giving him the props that he deserves. He is an electrifying talent running the football. And he scares the living bejesus out of you when he has the ball in his hands and he's looking to run. So you've got secondaries that are compromised because you got to have somebody spying him. Sometimes, in some cases, 2 people spying him. Obviously, that really compromises you in terms of having the bodies to guard opposing wide receivers. I get that. But the flip side to it is that there's more film. It's the National Football League, and you got to believe that schematically, somehow, some way, somebody will come up with a way to make him throw the football more than run it on occasion. Again, we're talking MVP. I'm not saying he's not going to have a great year and he's not a great talent, but I'm talking about in terms of MVP, I kind of think that you can find a way to sort of neutralize him to some degree in terms of MVP discussion.
Well,
film on him just going to demoralize the teams who have to watch the film. Let's not forget, real quick, Dan, he's on his rookie deal still. Russell Wilson and Tom Brady suck up a lot of the salary cap. Lamar is still on his rookie deal, meaning there are more resources going to other places on that team.
All right, Dan, last word here.
Here's the challenge for Lamar. Last year he led. Go ahead, Molly. I'm sorry.
No, you have the last word. It's all you.
Here's the challenge for Lamar. Last year, he led the NFL in touchdown passes and led the NFL in yards per rush and won MVP. Like, can you do that again? That is incredibly difficult to try and repeat in. And I'll make the point again. One of the great benefits scheme-wise was those 3 tight ends. And they traded Hayden Hurst. And I know he wasn't an incredible, impactful player per first-round pick, but I do want to see how they replace that because that is one of those pieces that made that offense so impossible to stop last year. But it's going to be really hard for Lamar to duplicate that season again.
Dan, appreciate you listening to Time Cues. You will be back with us in just a bit. I want to add, Russell Wilson has never had a career MVP vote. That's hard to believe. And also, I was surprised Kyler Murray was so high. Same odds. I know he got D-Hop as Tom Brady. you.